All right. We'll get going in a minute here. Just let some folks get on in. How we doing this morning? What's going on, guys? Hey, Space. Yeah, those are going to be probably some good positions for you today. Congrats. Yeah, Hood. Hood, this is going to be, I mean, it already is a fun one. America runs on Hood. Morning Viper. Yeah, there's a lot to be excited about. Um, yeah, a lot of stuff that we're in is performing pretty well in pre-market. So what do you always makes it interesting. Um, balancing out that, just maintaining and managing the current stocks that we have versus actively looking for some of the next movers. You know what I mean? It's always very interesting to see how that, like, aggression changes of I want these new ones versus I just want to stick with what I got kind of
Yeah,
thing.
dude, that's what I love so much more about swing trading. Like back when I used to day trade, like I'd be sitting here on this gap up figuring out like what the hell am I gonna do today? You
Mm-hmm.
know? But I own 9 stocks right now and all of them are gapping up pretty decently this morning. So it's kind of just, sit on my hands and manage these positions. Less I do, the better, probably.
It that is very true. Especially in one of the, these explosive, expansion type of setups in the market, which we've been, I think, detailing pretty extensively over the past few weeks. Um, is one of the worst things you can do is be a squirrel and be satisfied with this move with one move in a few stocks and go looking for the next hot ticket that's got some PR. The best thing is often already the best thing that you have. So um which like I said, it makes it interesting to um talk about and look for new opportunities. But you can't deny that there's remains a number of hot setups that are just beginning to emerge are still able to be entered, which we'll get into a few of those. But all right, everybody in, come on in. Dun, 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 dun. We will. Let me just reply over time. Okay, so yeah, a few things to talk about this morning. The S&P is gapping up about $1.50, 0.25% over Friday's high. Friday's high was 580.3. We're sitting 581.10 in the pre-market. Fresh baked all-time highs on the S&P 500. After coming off of 3 months of consolidation and then a breakout and retest of that previous all-time high into the 20 MA, and then now trending into new all-time highs. Here we got the QQQ. This is actually gonna be really interesting. We are gapping up a little bit more than the S&P. So the QQQ is the strongest in the pre-market right now, right up to this gap fill from 716. which has kind of been the reason this has been lagging with this bearish open gap right here has been really tough for the Qs to get through, right? The first time it attempted on this gap up here, got stuffed, pulled back to the 20, came up here early last week, and then kind of lagged behind, pretty much double inside days Thursday and Friday, and then now we're kind of breaking that range into this July gap fill spot, which is pretty much 496.30, we'll call it, into 496, right back here, which kind of started this wave down in July and August. So we're very curious as to how it responds. There is, possibly some, chunky action. We'll see how strong these mega caps want to be. Actually, this is kind of the levels that I have for the Qs for the most part this week. I have nothing above all-time highs. We can adjust all-time high levels if we need to. But this 486 to 484.40 as the big support level. You can just see in this base right here, and then up at this resistance from about 493.70, which was the highest from this gap up at the end of September, and then this gap fill spot right here. So yeah, no major thoughts. I think it's a major mistake to pay close attention to the indexes. I think you really need to I think you can pay attention to Q's gap fill spot, this area here, to kind of gauge how we're reacting. But for the most part, the individual stocks will likely tell you that answer. And then you've got the IWM here, which we've been, essentially looking for that breadth expansion day. Really in fact, the only argument against this, massive range break and follow through move was the fact that there were some breadth readings in the market that were somewhat questionable. But we were placing the argument, if you will, that lack of breadth was more actually favorable, especially when we get that thrust type action, when we get that broad participation. It is just likely fuel to push us even, push stocks even higher. And we kind of got that on Friday with the IWM up 2%, ended up closing with an engulfing candle, solely from Thursday's action below at the 50 SMA and then Friday's follow through. Kind of gave us that weekly engulfing candle on IWM. And when you look at this weekly candle of IWM here, like imagine if this were like a Bitcoin stock, right? Imagine if this were like a firm or UPST or something that one of the individual stocks you love to trade, you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is like top of the list right here. So it is important to maintain a reasonable approach, and not too crazy of a bias, but bottom line is this looks pretty damn hot. Getting over this 220 spot and closing over that I thought was key. I'd be completely fine with this dangling under 223 this week, 223 to about 225 for the early part of this week. Can this continue, for another push day up? Yeah, in fact, I'd say that probability is probably the highest. And then the second probability is that this kind of consolidates above this little range break at 220. Right here, I know my lines are kind of getting all goofy, but I think the second highest probability is that this consolidates above this like 220 spot, maybe dips below slightly, but we got a lot of room for a near-term higher low on the IWM. And as long as this maintains the 20 EMA, this is an active sequence, in my opinion, to the upside. And I think we are currently searching and expecting this to break year-to-date highs of 230, which will lead to an all-time high break on IWM in the first quarter of 2025. And yeah, that's all gathered from this recent action. Okay, Dow Jones also at all-time highs, looking super hot. Brocco, if you want to take over and go over what you want to go to, I'm guessing you're gonna start with Bitcoin.
Sure. Yeah. I won't be very long. Um, so yeah, you can kind of see I typed out my little plan for today. I got this little note section on my screen right here is kind of what I plan on doing today. So I'm looking to sell the rest of this FNGU today for about a 10-11% gain. We're coming into this bear gap right here from 723, kind of lines up with the QQQ gap fill from when we gap down on CPI. Kind of just want to sell full into the spot. You know, this thing's been up like 6 days in a row since we bought it. So I'm just going to take my profit here and look to move to like a faster moving name because there are a few good looks that I think could set up that I want to be involved in. Same thing with NTNX. You know, this thing's been up 5 days in a row since we got in. Going to close this out for about a 8%, 7-8% profit. So those are just two like slower moving names that I kind of want to clear up and make some room for some other names that I like on my flag list from over the weekend. But other than that, you know, everything I got's pretty much gapping up. AEHR from Friday's flat right now. Um, I'll be honest, I have no buying power today. I used the rest of my buying power to get involved with BitX last night. After we talked on Sunday scans, I convinced myself that this Bitcoin looked really good and it was coming down to like this little support spot I had. So I bought in on it, and luckily Bitcoin just absolutely ripped for the next 2 hours after that. So I got a little starter or decent position on this BitX so far, but that's where the rest of my buying power went. Other money I have is not settled, so that'll be settled next next session tomorrow. So I don't really plan on doing much today. I'm gonna manage these positions. I think I'm going to take a partial on this UPST today. I mean, it's up 5 days in a row. It is just breaking out some range, but I just want to get a small trim on it and then, you know, maybe add back if it tightens up a little bit. I think this 49 to 50 area might be a little bit of resistance. So I want to get a little small trim off on that. And I got a few names I'm watching today. I kind of just want to see how they act. Some Bitcoin names in here, like, and then you got like AMSC. I think this could use a tight day, or this could trigger today. But yeah, I mean, majority of my positions are kind of doing the work for me today. I don't really see the need to really do too much. Qs are trying to take out a little bit of range today. We'll see if that holds. Like to see us hold above, you know, this 494 area for now, and see if this market really wants to pick up some steam. I mean, this NVIDIA is really not resting at all. It'll take like a day of just closing flat and then start extending again. So this looks really solid. This is still my biggest position. I haven't trimmed on it yet. I'm looking to take a trim into 140 on this, so I hope we can push there in the next day or two, which isn't very far considering this thing's ATR. And then just quickly, you know, we really put a lot of emphasis on, you know, the Bitcoin theme last night. You know, that was pretty timely. This thing made a really nice move last night after we got off Sunday scans. You know, we mentioned this daily EMA crossback, you know, paired up with this weekly crossback here, where you had some really nice tight price action to these moving averages. And, you know, really the trigger spot we were looking at was previous week's highs. I think that was 64K, 400, like 45 or something like that. But we triggered through those highs. I'd like to see us hold above last week's high for now. And I think, you know, if we hold above last week's high, the likelihood of us, you know, pushing the top of this, you know, big range at like 68.7K is pretty likely. So these Bitcoin names are going to be a big focus. I have cores right now as kind of my leading name in that. We have a decent cushion on that. And then I got some BitX, which is just a leverage ETF for Bitcoin, just trading this chart itself. So that's what I got right now. I don't know that I have too much else to say. Market looks good. And yeah, just kind of letting these names work for me right now, I guess. Don't really have a ton of ideas at the moment, I'll be honest.
Um, one thing, Rocco, and this is, you know, maybe just some unsolicited advice. I think you should still not only watch your positions, you know, like a hawk, of course, but yeah, um I think you keep actively searching for new things, because you never know when one of those positions could turn into free buying power that needs to be deployed elsewhere. I mean, that could happen, you know, at some point today or this afternoon, or
I mean,
here,
yeah, I'm cutting two
you
pretty
know.
big names in my account to free up exposure for other names. So it's just a matter of the other names I have on my flag list actually giving an entry opportunity for me.
Mm, dope. Um, Maybe I should go over some in my screen up. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna brief run through of so all of these open positions here before I go into my notes for this morning. Yeah, so this course, Bronco, you alerted this. What was it? Sometime you had a really good buy on this in the 12s. Like was it 12.15, I think. Anyways, this just looks so nice, man. I don't want to pump this stock's tires too much, but I don't know if it turns into a big winner and goes to 20 bucks, but a lot of stocks that have turned into big winners and ripped, to their $20 spots have looked like this. And this break and retest and this volume that came in and this consolidation for, a month right here, this is just something that if this is not in your wheelhouse, like if this is not part of what you're looking to do, then I'd really like to see what you are looking to do. Because this breakout on Friday and this price action, for the past month and a half is just beautiful. And then Bronco, your UPST. This is phenomenal. The way that this kind of consolidated and danced against 42. And this is what we were talking about early last week, actually. It was actually last weekend, was building out these like 65-minute, these hourly shelf supports, and just seeing the way UPST has traded against these shelf supports. Like this, clearly this 42.50-ish zone is some resistance. One tap, two tap, gets tight for the third tap, breaks through, turns it into some support, and then then just rips. I mean, that's a 15% move after holding this support. 15%. Remember the S&P is up what, 22% this year, and this is an individual stock up 15% in a day and a half. So really manage our positions it through this lens. Like, don't just look at like one of these 65-minute candles or one 30-minute candle, one 15-minute candle, and think that you know more than the broader trend. One of the best lines is bulls prove at support. Doesn't matter if there's sellers higher that are taking profits or even trading the other side of the
That
stock.
quote fit that trade so well because that thing was driving me crazy. Remember the days just kept grinding and faking out, but bulls kept stepping in at support where they did, even though sellers were selling some higher.
Yeah, great example of that. Great example of that. To what let them prove that support. Let it do what it's going to do. Let the chart play out. And then this Instacart. This is a 65-minute, but I'm trading this more on the daily. I've got this all messed up here. Gonna clean this up. In from 35. Added in this zone between 39 and 41. And now we're sitting up here just consolidating after breaking, all-time high, these IPO highs on this. I have, nothing to say about this. This can consolidate more, and I'd be completely okay with that. I'd like it to, not go below about 41.50, give or take. But I'm up, significantly on this, and expect this to stay in my account for as long as it trails pretty much the 20 EMA on Instacart. And like I said, I've been riding this since 9/11 down here at 35 bucks. DoorDash, same thing, been riding this since 9/11 at 125.85. Added to this on Thursday morning at 143 at the 9 EMA as we built out this zone. Inside day, we swept below that, got a go signal on the hourly to where we took out those lows and started pushing red to green. And then this is, exploding higher to 150, up over $7 from that entry, re-entry or add on DoorDash. Nothing to do on this. Would like it to maintain Friday's low of 145. But really, as long as we're trailing up the 20 MA, I'm going to maintain this as a core position. KVYO still maintaining this as well, very similar, entered 911. It's just been trending up the 90 EMA, nothing to do. This ended up breaking into new 52-week highs. Looking at these IPO highs next at about 39.50. And, again, just trailing this up to 90 May. Would like this to hold Thursday's low at 35.51. KTOS, so still have this position as well from 10-1. Sold out of this because, I did, this one is one I wanted buying power for something else. But, still up on this, nicely from the 23.55 entry. This is gapping up to new highs this morning. Nice 2-week consolidation, holding the moving averages, and then looking for this to trend higher. My stop will also be Thursday's low on this. Hood. So entered this last week here on Monday, actually, as we kind of gapped down. Again, another go signal. Took out that red to green spot at 22.90. I think the entry was closer to about 23 flat, 23.05 on these call options. And the stock is up 17% since into $27. Nothing to do here besides, take profits on shorter dated options, maybe look to, get longer dated ones, which I know a number of you guys have. Still maintaining an equity position throughout since 2023 on this. But in terms of a trade, this is another example of those 65-minute shelves that, I've been really stocking. The way this had held this 22.30 to 22 flat support had me extremely interested in it. And then all we needed to do was kind of get tight, get some sort of go signal, which we got, like I said, right there on Monday. And then that just immediately led to that 24 breakout. APPS. So I'm super excited about this still. Bought this again on this, sweep and go signal setup at 287. Pushed through, had a couple days of consolidation to follow into all of the moving averages on the daily. And then we got some continuation, some impressive continuation on Friday, up 18%. I've got pretty high hopes for this stock. And, as long as we kind of maintain most of Friday's range, pretty much the 50-day moving average on this, I'm going to maintain a full position on HPPS. A-Lab also bought this the previous Friday on this big gap up. It's just been a monster trender. I expect and I want some consolidation below $70 and above $60, more like, above 60. So whatever this does between 70 and 60, I don't care. Going to be maintaining this exposure. I trimmed off about a third of my position into $70, up 40% on the stock. And we'll be watching this build out and then ultimately looking for all-time highs on this in the coming weeks and months. IWM still have the June 2025 230 calls that are up 17.5% from entry. Entered, somewhere in this range. I actually think I entered on this day right there. I did enter that day at the 50-day moving average. Which a stop is a close below the 50-day moving average. We've got that curling up now. We already covered this. Roku, I need this one to kind of get on its horse a little bit. Again, entered this on go signal at 76.80. That was on Tuesday as we were kind of taking out this range. Now I'm pretty much looking for this 79.50 spot to get taken out, an $80 psych level. And then we've got, pretty active sequence on this. Affirm I don't need to go over, Tesla don't need to go over. And then Google really talked about this Friday on this 65-minute, another notable go signal candle as we swept through this range right here and reclaimed, consolidated extremely nicely above that 65-minute breakout candle. I want to see us expand a little bit today into 165. There is a decent bit of supply up there on this, and looking to see how we react at about 160, 168 on this. Okay, so that's all that stuff. Now into, I know a lot, there's a number of folks that are, not able to participate due to the bank holiday, which is unfortunate. But I think even Manrev actually is setting a phenomenal example. He's on vacation. We're not on vacation. He's out of town, traveling for work this week, and he's going through Sunday as if he were going to be as if he had zero buying power, or sorry, as if he had 100% buying power, zero positions, going through the scans, setting up his list, setting up his alerts, as if he had zero positions. And it's really important to maintain those routines. Even if you are fully exposed, even if you have full positions, is to, yes, watch those positions like a hawk and manage them properly, set alerts, build out your levels and plans, etc. But to also, at the flip side, maintain that aggression and routine of preparing for the next opportunities, because you never know where and when they will present themselves. So that is crucial, that routine factor. We have 3 minutes before the market opens. I have a few stocks now that I want to go over. Don't really have that much time to cover them, but we cover them pretty extensively on Sunday scans here. A lot of the software stocks I will be watching this week for pullbacks, but in terms of today, I actually want to put a little emphasis on this Apple here. Double inside days above the 90 EMA and 230 spot. I want to see how this ends up behaving through these inside days. I want to set an alert at about 227.15 underneath this double inside day low to see if maybe we take these lows out and then reclaim. And then again, pretty much just over these highs here, if we end up pushing through the double inside days into this resistance here, which is a pretty large volatility contraction pattern base, and which could lead to some major participation. Square. So I really like this inside day here above this range. I know we covered this extensively. This is going to, I really want to maintain some strong focus on this stock, and hoping that this pulls back into closer to 69 or slightly below that, and then gives one of the go signal type look, and I will actively enter that, and I might even just buy this at $70. Also, Zillow, really looking to find a way in this. Hopefully, this builds out a base underneath about $63 early this week. And I'll really be actively looking to get in that. And then this TOST over this 2780 spot, we're getting some really nice consolidation that I want to see build out a little bit further, but this has to be a priority this week, in my opinion. And yes, of course, there's a lot of these Bitcoin miners, Coinbase, MSTRs, that should be a focus because it's a major and strong theme. But I've personally got exposure between Robinhood and Cores. I would like to gather a shitco miner. Anything but Mara is pretty much my criteria. Market
5
opens in
seconds.
5 seconds. Get your stock boxes filled out. Let's go do what we do, people. Show me